At first, I need to introduce that I don't want you to take this presentation like something to panic. This presentation is purely informative and with the intention to take a reflection about this topic that concerns us all. And maybe one day we can take action and request together the word nuclear disarmament. If a war occurs, that means only one thing. Exactly, no more corridos tumbados, padrino. Environment effects. We have a real big problem if the nuclear exchange reaches global magnitudes. Then the ozone layer will be greatly weakened by the presence of abundant nitrogen oxides in the atmosphere and by the head of the explosions. This may affect the UV radiation entering into the planet, but we will talk about it later. Nuclear winter. Two known climatic effects are considered. Both are aimed at increasing the level of global dimming. The upper layers of the atmosphere are made more absorbent by the contribution of ash and dust from fires and detonations. That dark layer converts the sun rays like a dark blanket. It is known that a warmer upper atmosphere leads to a colored surface.
Consequential ultraviolet radiation. A nuclear war would lead to maximum ozone loss. Nitrogen oxides injected into the atmosphere by fireballs will destroy up to 50% of the ozone layer. However, since the ozone layer shields the Earth's surface from harmful ultraviolet radiation, these impacts will be devastating to humans and the environment. Scientists discovered that the huge amounts of smoke from a nuclear war would cool Earth by blocking incoming sunlight, a result known as nuclear winter. A multitude of toxic pollutants will be produced by pyrolysis and partial combustion of chemical products, petroleum derivatives, and synthetic materials stored in strategic, industrial, and urban areas. Military installations, chemical plants, oil and gas refineries, and urban centers contain vast stores of chemicals and petroleum products, as well as the waste products of defense industry and everyday life. There will be many deaths almost immediately, but over time, high levels of ultraviolet radiation will be linked to certain types of skin cancer, cataracts, and immune disorders. Almost 3 to 4 billion people worldwide would be alive, but that it's not all, since when the ozone layer is damaged, it would stop protecting terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems, as well as agriculture, same ones that provide natural resources to man. That is to say that after a nuclear war, the panorama on Earth will be discouraging.
When a nuclear weapon is detonated above ground, it can send radioactive material into the atmosphere at 50 miles per hour. This causes large particles to be generated accompanied by toxic gases, which create small particles that are dragged into the atmosphere and at the same time fall back on Earth. We call this radioactive fallout. Fallout can circulate around the world for several years until gradually the same precipitation returns it to the surface. Fallout typically contains hundreds of different radionuclides. Some stays in the environment for a long time because they have long half-lives, like Cesium 137, which has a half-life of 30.17 years. Some have very short half-lives and decay away in a few minutes or a few days, like iodine 131, which has a half-life of 8 days. Very little radioactivity from weapons testings in the 50s and the 60s can still be detected in the environment now.
To conclude this presentation, recent studies indicate that even a regional nuclear war of less than 1,000 megatons could lead to global climatic change and a worldwide humanitarian catastrophe. So, even a small nuclear war where only 100 nuclear weapons with an average of 15 kilotons will be used will generate abrupt climatic changes. Even more, only 50 detonations like the one in Hiroshima will be enough to cause severe climatic change. A nuclear confrontation of that magnitude could emit up to 5 million metric tons of ash and dust, which will already have an effect on the environment of the entire planet. This is more catastrophic than we can imagine. In a war of this magnitude, anyone can win, but everyone ends up losing. Just Let's think about it.